In 1985, Thunder Bay, Ontario had 5 operating ski areas surrounding the city. By 2005, just 20 years later, that number was down to 2. Big Thunder, Mount McKay, and Candy Mountain had all been permanently closed. While I discussed the story of Mount McKay in a prior video, Candy Mountain stands as an equally intriguing ski resort. Featuring Ontario's longest chairlift and ski run, Candy Mountain had really good terrain and a unique layout. So join me today as we take a look at the story of Candy Mountain. Candy Mountain is located 20 minutes west of the city of Thunder Bay, Ontario. Here's where Candy Mountain was located in relation to the other 4 Thunder Bay ski areas. The story of Candy Mountain begins in the early 1970s. Ernie Smith was the general manager of Cedar Springs, a ski area near Orangeville, Ontario. In 1969, Smith left his job at Cedar Springs to accept a new general management role at the Loch Lomond ski area in Thunder Bay. 2 years after that, in 1971, Smith formed his own company and purchased a section of land west of Thunder Bay. Ernie Smith subsequently announced the development of Thunder Bay's newest ski area, Candy Mountain. Although it took Ernie Smith a few years to sort out financing, cut trails, and install lifts and buildings, by January of 1972, Candy Mountain was fully operating. The ski area featured a long Poma double chairlift and a Skyway T-bar that ran halfway up the mountain. A handful of beginner and expert trails extended from these 2 lifts. The ski lodge had a very whimsical feel to it, and it included a solarium, indoor fire pit, a sun deck, and a cocktail bar. Although its first year of operations was a success, an unexpectedly warm winter the next year spelled disaster for the resort. This prompted Candy Mountain to begin developing its own snowmaking system, which was continually improved upon year after year. The hill distinguished itself from the competition in quite a few ways. For example, every spring, Candy Mountain hosted a winter carnival, which culminated in a canoe race from the steep Crackerjack Trail. Starting in 1976, Candy Mountain came under the ownership of Bill Irwin, who owned Loch Lomond. Under this deal, both mountains began offering a joint lift ticket. Under the new ownership, Candy Mountain continued to expand their snowmaking system, which helped it open early during the abysmal 1976-77 winter. Now, despite all the improvements at Candy Mountain, the ski area struggled to attract skiers. This was not a struggle unique to Candy Mountain, as the Thunder Bay Mountains faced the same issue. The broad Thunder Bay area, with a population of less than 120,000 people, was too small to support all 5 mountains, especially considering that only 5% of this population skied. This problem led to an aggressive marketing push of Thunder Bay as a winter destination, especially directed towards the provinces of Manitoba and Saskatchewan and the US Midwest. While these efforts were somewhat successful in bringing in new skiers, Thunder Bay never truly became a regional skiing destination. In 1979, Ward Bond, a young Manitoban professional, purchased Loch Lomond and Candy Mountain from Bill Irwin. Candy Mountain would remain under the ownership of Ward Bond until its closure. In 1984, the Big Thunder ski area was acquired by the provincial government to be a training center for provincial ski teams. This move closed Big Thunder to the public. Mount McKay closed in 1988. In 1988, Ward Bond upgraded Loch Lomond's north chairlift with a brand new BM Lifts quad. Instead of scrapping the double, Bond moved it over to Candy Mountain to service a new intermediate terrain pod. This new terrain pod featured several rolling intermediate cruisers. It appears that the new double chair may have only operated on weekends. Downhill mountain bike trails were also cut on Candy Mountain, although the lifts were never used in the summer to haul bikes up. While many resorts shunned early snowboarders, both Loch Lomond and Candy Mountain embraced the sport with open arms, allowing snowboarding by 1990. In 1993, Candy Mountain installed a half-pipe on one of its runs. Unfortunately, during the mid-1990s, Candy Mountain started to see a significant drop in skier visitation. This prompted Ward Bond to lease Candy Mountain to a local businessman named Abe Buckle in the mid-1990s. Abe Buckle operated Candy Mountain for a couple of years, although he made several operational cutbacks. By 1997, Candy Mountain was only open from Thursday to Sunday. Following the poor winter of 1998, Buckle defaulted on several lease payments to Ward Bond, which forced the closure of Candy Mountain by 1999. Bond took back operation of the resort, opening it only on weekends for the 2000 and 2001 ski seasons. In October of 2002, Bond announced that Candy Mountain was for sale, and that if it didn't sell, it might permanently close. This prompted a group of local investors named Lake Superior Division Alpine to put together a proposal that would have seen Candy Mountain become a private resort. This proposal fell short as the group could not raise all the funds necessary to purchase the mountain. Candy Mountain never operated following the 2001 to 2002 ski season. All snowmaking and grooming equipment were moved over to Loch Lomond. Ward Bond leased Candy Mountain to the Thunder Bay Police in 2004. By 2005, the land was sold to Charlie Clare, who turned the original A-frame ski shop into a new home. As part of this sale, the ski hill land was rezoned to residential, a move which made it unlikely for the mountain to ever return to operating as a ski resort. Since then, the lifts have slowly been removed from the property, and the trails have continued to grow in more and more every year. Ward Bond sold Loch Lomond in 2014, and since then, the mountain has seemingly been thriving. Candy Mountain, on the other hand, continues to sit overgrown and forgotten, a rich part of Thunder Bay's downhill skiing legacy. It is extremely unlikely that it will ever be a downhill ski area again. Let's now discuss how Candy Mountain would have skied. Candy Mountain had a vertical drop of 218 meters. The mountain was the steepest at the bottom and the top, and it flattened out quite a bit in the middle. The main lift at Candy Mountain was the Poma double chair. This double was the longest lift in Ontario, coming in at 1.2 kilometers in length. The Skyway T-bar served some easy terrain off the mid-mountain and likely only operated during busy times. In later years, this T-bar was completely removed. A small handle toe served the true beginner terrain right next to the lodge. The Humbug Green Run was one of Candy Mountain's signature runs. This was the only easy way down from the summit, and it winds the skier through a narrow gully up top before meandering its way down to the bottom. Coffee Crisp, named after the Canadian chocolate bar, branches off of Humbug, and it offers the skier a mellow pitch that brings the skier back down to the base. Candy Trail is directly accessible from the T-bar lift, and it crosses the Coffee Crisp Run before veering into a narrow run through the forest. Both Upper Jawbreaker and Lower Jawbreaker were accessible from Humbug and Coffee Crisp. These black runs were both on the easier side, and they weren't too long. Both were likely moguled up, though it wouldn't surprise me if one was sporadically groomed. Peppermint is Candy Mountain's signature run. This run has an extremely steep section near the top before flattening out in the middle, then veering to the looker's left of the double chair. The Smarties run continues under the double chair to the bottom. Both of these trails were groomed daily. Crackerjack was the other top to bottom black run at Candy Mountain. Unlike Peppermint, Crackerjack was left to mogul up, and it was used in Candy Mountain's annual canoe race. Sounds terrifying. Let's now discuss the double chairlift, which was added in the late 1980s. This hull double chair served virtually all of Candy Mountain's intermediate terrain. This chair was 590 meters long, and it gained 125 meters of elevation. Giant Slalom was one of the main runs this chair served, although it was also accessible from Crackerjack. This run was undoubtedly groomed and likely used for ski racing. Unlike its name, the Black Magic Run is another blue cruiser that features several twists and turns through the forest before veering the skier back onto the double. Jujube branches off of Black Magic and follows the double chair lift line. Likely one of these runs was groomed and the other wasn't. Finally, the Glade Run branches off of Black Magic and, according to the trail map, had very thinned out glades all the way down. This run isn't any steeper than Black Magic, but was definitely moguled the entire way. The loss of Candy Mountain is quite sad. While both Candy Mountain and Loch Lomond complemented each other quite well, the reality was that Thunder Bay was not able to support all of its downhill ski areas. Candy Mountain ultimately failed not due to issues at the ski resort, but due to being in a completely oversaturated ski market. While there is always a chance that this ski area could come back, it's completely unlikely to ever return. Thanks for watching The Lost Resorts. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. And until next time, this is Skier72.